And hello there, and welcome back to my Eat, Read, Watch series. This is the 32nd. I can't quite believe it myself. And I do this because I'm highlighting a solo dinner and my reading and watching accompaniments. I really believe we shouldn't eat alone, we should dine solo because we're all worth it and it's really not that hard to do. So today I'm eating creamed salmon on sourdough toast. Sometimes the cupboard is near bare, and even I'm stumped about what I might eat. The strip of takeout joints just 2 blocks away is like a siren call to my hungry ears. But one day recently I created food from nearly no food, and here's how. Thank God for onions. I started with one sautéing in a little butter in a small saucepan. I diced the only other bits of veg I had, half a red pepper, 2 mushrooms, and 4 rather sad-looking Brussels sprouts. The latter required peeling back a few leaves to find something that looked more or less edible. I added all the veg to the pan and kept stirring, adding a good shake of umami seasoning and a grind or 2 of salt and pepper. Then I reached for a can of salmon, struggled with the can opener while stirring the pot. No need to burn all these nice veg. Finally, I got the lid off the salmon and dumped it all in, liquid and all, and mixed it up a bit. I knew it needed some creaminess to make it work on toast, but I also thought a little thickening was in order. I made a little slurry of 5% cream and a teaspoon or so of cornstarch and added it. Then to the toast. Fun fact, Chandlerville is too small for a toaster. I used the broiler. I stuck a piece of sourdough in on what I think of as the toasting rack, jacked the oven to its highest heat, and closed the door. I'm pretty good at estimating the length of time necessary for each side. Every breakfast for 30 months will do that. Still stirring my creamed salmon, I flipped the bread to the other side. With toast done and creamy salmon nicely thickened, I plated it. Needs something. I grabbed a scallion, chopped it, and garnished. Voila! Lunch. And leftovers for another day, too. Prep time? 10 to 15 minutes. Origin? All Ontario veg. Salmon, I think, was West Coast. I do my best. Cost? $5 for the salmon, maybe? Another $1 for the rest of the ingredients. If you've got an idea for how to use up canned salmon, please put it in the comments section on my blog. So what am I reading? Well, if you haven't read Elizabeth Gilbert's 2007 smash hit memoir, Eat, Pray, Love, you're A, among a minority it seems, and B, most definitely you've seen the Julia Roberts movie that followed 3 years later. The book achieved for Gilbert unheard of success, especially for a memoirist. I read it when we all did, long before I ever considered writing my own book. Frankly, I've given Gilbert no attention since, certainly overlooking the 5 books she's written. When, several months ago, I saw she was coming to Toronto to talk about a new book, All the Way to the River, I thought it might be interesting to hear about her approach to writing, how she got an agent and a publisher, and how she achieved the level of success, how it affected her writing since, and so on. I did not realize she's got a cult-like following, including 202,000 subscribers to her Letters from Love Substack. I began reading her book en route to the Toronto show this past weekend. Even then, it had escaped me that there would be over 1,000 fans, 98% women, hanging on her every word from their seats in John Bassett Theatre, or that she would tell her story, the story in the book, for an hour with minimal reference to her writing craft. I'll be honest, while it wasn't what I expected or even wanted, it was very, very entertaining. There's no doubt she's got a good story and tells it in an engaging way. So I came home and hunkered down in Sunday's snowstorm, plowing through the book, despite knowing what was coming next from hearing her story, because, well, it's a good read. Oh, sure, she's taken some flack for it being privileged. aka privileged literature, a term for literature that represents spiritual, philosophical, or existential journeys of self-discovery that are primarily accessible to those with financial privilege. I'm a bit cross at myself for buying her book. Like, seriously, this woman does not need my money. But if you can wait a year to read it, you may want to put it on hold at your local library. It will certainly take that long to get through the list. If you've been reading a bestseller, let's hear about it in the comments section of my blog. And finally, what am I watching? Well, Prime Suspect. In column number 31, I talked about watching a modern-day UK cop drama with a female detective protagonist. It took me back to the early 1990s when Helen Mirren starred in 3 seasons of Prime Suspect, playing the formidable DCI Jane Tennyson. I'm re-watching the series now. Such an interesting time-traveling experience as I consider how groundbreaking it seemed at the time to have a strong female cop lead. Mirren's character is quick to identify when male colleagues treat her poorly. She also champions trans women in a plotline revolving around the abuse of young people, some of whom are in transition. Interestingly, though, Tennyson moves on, seemingly unconcerned, when her romantic partner dumps her in season 1 because she fails to make dinner for his colleagues. The era doesn't allow for a working woman who is the breadwinner, but not responsible for all the housework as well. That said, this is great TV and a wonderful slice of history. Can recommend. If you've gone back to something old, please let others know in the comments section on my blog. And thanks so much for watching.